Hello?
Hello. Going to try again. It's like regenerating and throwing off people too. Because people have shitty Wi Fi.
Okay. Let me move closer to my box. So what's the topic?
So tonight's topic, I have two choices. Initially, I had an earlier conversation about the talk, like the talk with your parents and the lack of. And it led off into a lot of places, and I didn't really direct the conversation. So a lot of what I wanted to talk about and uncover never really happened. So I wanted to know if you guys are willing to go back into that type of conversation or steer directly into female pleasure.
Okay. Me want to talk about the talk as I know I'm gonna get that talk there. Well, I get pieces of it, but
Well,
my parents have never come forward and say, you know, man and woman argument and what
yeah,
can happen.
I
Them just
know.
say they're just like we're a condom or
Yeah, it's
And I think
cautionary. Don't
everybody
do this.
deserves to
Don't do
get that
that.
talk.
I feel like that too. We used to watch TV and wait for my day if it come.
Right.
I used to watch TV and wait. I'm like, all right, how will my and even like imagine how my parents would, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
that's my main issue,
with
and,
my
and I think
parents.
that's why some of the children nowadays they're so them love to explore, and when them explore without the knowledge, without going into exploring without the
Exactly.
knowledge, that is when they end up with teenage pregnancy,
I
STDs,
agree.
etc. You see,
I
when you have a
agree.
level of communication or relationship with your children, when you can sit down and tell them, say, Ray, this, that is when they trust you. And then when they have them like a boyfriend or them like a
They're
girlfriend, they go
they're more
come and them
eager,
say,
more willing to come and say
right.
XYZ. Yep.
hmm And that is when they will pull you and the next person together and say, look, I know that you are of age and whatever, but you need to protect yourselves. And I think this is a thought that we need to, even if it's a Christian home you come from. I mean, some people might say, like the Christian girl, them are the you know what them are, yes, the Christian girl, them
Yep.
bad and something. So they need to have a talk with them. We need so. 'Cause everybody a big man and big woman nowadays.
Exactly. I'm
Mm,
here, and I think that, well, my parents never gave me the talk. And I think that because their parents never gave them the talk,
right. They don't know how
it's
to
like it's
approach
just
it.
a domino effect.
Right.
It is a domino effect.
Well, guess what? We are millennials. So we are gonna take up the mantle when we decide to be parents. Cause that's the next thing.
But yeah, so definitely with the talk, my
hmm
parents didn't have a all-out talk with me,
hmm
but we got warned against sex. Like, don't have sex.
Right.
Sex not good. Sex not good. And I feel like the talk needs to be coupled with a lot of other conversations because
Right.
number one, the talk's supposed to come maybe when your pitney go start puberty.
Right.
That's usually when they start tell you, say you're wrong, like everything is wrong, everything about your body, everything about your urges is wrong. You have to
hmm
wear brassiere. No, you feel like there are so many things like, no, you can't wear short shorts again, you can't wear your little tights, those little
Right.
things. Hi Maria, thank you. Thank you for joining us. We're currently talking about the talk and what our parents did and didn't say to us about the talk. So
Oh,
I'm explaining that there are some things that we think should be coupled with the actual talk. Like, for example, puberty. Usually that's around the time you get like a breast and they start telling you start fast yourself and you start, you know, and
yeah.
all of a sudden you're now aware of your body. Even if you weren't aware of it, the opposite gender or is now aware of it. Are your parents
Right.
aware? Say man out there start look for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when them tell us, say, don't bring no picnic coming at me yard.
Yeah,
Me
true.
nah stay home with no grand picnic. You can't
True.
afford children. You understand? Like there's almost never a conversation that says, Tena-Kay, you're going to have these urges. Don't act on them.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was like you. Oh, that one? You think say your parents born grown. Me sure say at grade 6, I didn't think that my parents knew what I was going through.
Yeah,
Cause
true.
it's like them born big, them never make no mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
you just come with them. So I think that they should do that talk at the time when you start become aware of the body and say, hey, boys are going to go through changes as well, and they are going to have urges, and little conversations like this. My first like sex talk was at school when, and I don't mean like the reproductive, because yeah, we did that in science in grade 6 and whatever, but I mean sex. Like I was in a primary school that had junior high, and the bigger kids were there and stuff, and they were doing what they were doing. So that's where like certain conversations came about. Like me ear say so and so suck off so and so breast. Like me as a child, I'm thinking like that is disgusting. But then the bigger kids make it look so cool. It's like you
Right.
don't
Yeah,
want that
true.
kind of influence on
Mm-hmm.
your kid. Like you have to give your kid information to go out there. If they want to go out there and get different information and change their perspective, it is up to you as a parent to have given them the initial basics, the simple understanding
Right.
of
Yeah.
what you have. So when they go out there, they're like, all right, my mother tell me this and
To
what my
listen.
mother say a gospel. But if
Yeah.
you just go call
Right.
them down and say, don't have sex and don't talk to, oh God, don't talk to that the boy that you will breed. And you're like, how me
Exactly.
talking to a boy go breed me? You know,
True.
understand.
True.
So it
And I
was
realized that, when the child gets older, that is when them actually ready to, input certain things, like
right, and
when
you
you
have to
say,
And
benefit from
all
the
right,
young.
boyfriend, and like on the pan verge, them bigger things there.
Yep.
That is when them actually I come to you and tell you. I'm like, me did need this long ago, like
Long ago,
as
where
like
were you
from your
with this
puberty.
information?
Like me could have X out
um
so many people me come into contact with just
Oh
based
my
upon little
God.
chat.
for
Oh
me,
my God.
I don't know if it's like a Jamaican parents kind of thing, because I never had that conversation with my mom about boys. I could not open up to my mother about
I am
liking a boy and stuff
23
like
next
that.
week, and I think that I
And
still cannot.
and
Yep.
also I was unaware of even period when I had my first period. I thought something was wrong with me.
Oh God. This is
I
such a common
literally
denominator
I
Listen,
literally
sis, I
thought
knew
that,
about
oh my
periods
god, I'm
because
gonna
because
of
of
school.
school.
and
Because
then
of
Right.
school.
then it happened home the night,
Yep.
and I mean I slept right throughout the night bleeding.
Mm.
Because I was so scared to go to mommy and say, mommy,
Oh
I'm
my.
bleeding. To That's how scared I was of my mother, and
Yep.
that's how scared I was of telling her certain things. And like the morning, I got up and then I braved up and I said, all right, I have to tell her, because
Something
I
is
was in so
wrong.
much pain
I
and I
un
didn't
I'm
understand
so sorry
why
I had to
I
go
was
through
in
that.
so much pain. And I said, all right, I'm just going to go to her. And I went to her and she's like, I was crying. She's like, stop your bawling and all of this. And that's when she took a pad and showed me how to line the
Yeah.
panty and those stuff, and
Yep.
give me a pill. And I was like, in the back of my head, sixth grade, me I say like, why you wait until these stuff start
Like
happening to
imagine
me?
if you weren't
And
here, or if this was like, I don't know, at a friend's house or something. Like, what would I would have
I
died,
could have been at school.
right?
Everybody gotta look for me and they scan and they laugh and
And I
stuff like
think
that.
certain things, and it's crazy because again, last time we had this conversation, that's exactly what came up. that I didn't even know about sex until after I got my period. My mother said, and it's like, oh God, you're ruined now. I ate
And
this. Your life
and
over. You can't have fun. You can't do
true.
nothing
Mhm.
because you can't breathe now.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
That
oh
was
my
the
God,
conversation.
my kid has her period. I eat this. It done ya so.
Yeah.
My grandmother, we can't afford it. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you know what was good was that we had guidance in primary school, so there
yeah.
was like a few things that we learned, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
from our parents it is never like a priority. And it's so sad because you're my mother. That's the conversation I should be having with you, not my
Yes,
father, you
not
know.
people out the
And
road
if
neither.
if parents don't have those conversation with their children, I mean, what other connection can we have at all, you know?
Okay. Because if it's
So,
something as natural as that, that is a
and you're
must to
afraid to go to your
happen.
parents.
And you can't have that conversation with your child. I had
Mm.
an older sister that had her period before me, so I knew about pads and
Ah,
stuff like that. And
yeah,
then going to school and learning about it, I'm like, all right, the Sunday when I got my period, I'm like, all right, just grab a pad. And
yeah,
then my period came with, whoo,
crap.
vomiting,
Mhm,
diarrhea,
mhm,
headache,
mhm.
heartache, like you could have
Yep,
killed me.
me too.
And even those things we weren't prepared for. We don't know that, hey, some people have periods for 8 days and some have it for
Yep,
3.
yep.
Your parents just know that, okay, why your period don't come this month. And it's like,
Hey, yo,
man, I do
girl.
nothing. It's just natural, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And that just feed into them not trusting us and we not trusting them.
yeah.
Because if I am here and I just had uh, a skipped month, then me not do not me know about sex, and I
Exactly.
miss a month or I'm late or my cycle is thrown off. It's
Mhm.
like, no man,
You start
what
fret.
is no hand pan
Yeah, you
head,
start fret.
right? And it's
Yeah.
like, I think that a lot of them didn't have that knowledge. And a lot of them also feel that if they pass that knowledge on to us, we can deceive them.
I think what our parents normally do wrong is grow us up how their parents did grow them,
Yes.
and it is so wrong. I mean,
Because
they
like
don't
times
have
are
a
always
relationship with
changing.
their parents,
They
and they
do
don't
not.
have a relationship with us, and they don't see anything wrong with that.
They
You know,
do not.
they get so comfortable thinking that growing us up the older. I mean, there's nothing wrong with certain stuff that you do,
No.
but it should not be everything that you do, you know.
I was re-listening to, like, I was editing the other podcast, and some of the points that came up back were like that when I was a kid, I was so open and honest. Like, me point out everything. Me I did chatterbox. I questioned everything, and I was talking to my mom about it. She's like, "When you were about 5, you asked me something." I was like, "Chatty, can you say?" But mommy, if me not ask question, how me I gonna learn? And I'm like, yeah, that happened at 5, but still, between the ages of, you can say maybe 10, 11 to 15, I wasn't having those conversations with
And
you.
you, yeah.
My father went to prison in the summer that I was going to 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I got my period the October. My father was in prison till I was in the 9th grade. So just know some grew up without him,
Yeah.
if I can call it that. So that time period there, when you think you're gonna need like the little nurturing and stuff, my mother was working, working, working.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad wasn't there. So I
Yeah.
was basically around family members and so on. And it was crazy because they also didn't have time to teach me the stuff that I would have wanted my mom to teach me, or they didn't have the
Because
patience
yeah,
because, again, they
enough for
have
them
their
pay
own
me,
lives, they have their own
and
kids, and
enough for them pay me.
I wouldn't ask them.
Yeah,
So it's
true.
like so crazy. And then I remember like when I was in the 7th grade, when I just started Herbert Marson, I was in the 7th grade. I lived with my grandmother for the first part, for all of 7th grade, most of 7th grade actually. I lived with my grandmother in Sandy Bay, and let me tell you, that woman, like, I remember getting my period one day. And when I get my periods, like when I first started puberty, it's like sometimes I just sit down and you just see like one whole Duns River just rush.
Wow.
And
Mm-mm.
it's like whoosh. And I'm like, shit. Cause like on the first 2 days I got heavy periods, and then like for the next 3 days I just like spotting. So just
Okay.
feel say
Right.
hey, everything just rush out. And I remember I messed up my uniform and I came home, and she's telling me how I have cousin that got Alvernia and never one day our uniform ever mess up. And I'm like,
But
How is that
everybody's
what
period
possible?
is
me if you do
different.
about it? What could
Exactly.
I have done? What could I have done to stop it? What
And
you want me if you
say,
do? You know?
say in my high school years, me never mess up it up.
Yeah.
University, me come mess up.
Girl, don't
You
even
want to
talk.
know? Everybody is different,
Everybody is different. And
and
it
that
was
is why
Yeah.
so
I said about
embarrassing
parents
because here I
sometimes
am
they like to
having
compare. I
this
don't like
heavy
that.
flow, having this heavy flow, going to
Mm-hmm.
a friggin' school that you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom,
Bathroom.
you
Exactly.
know, and like stuff like that. Because when I was in primary school, I remember when I first started, I used to sit on the toilet,
Mm-hmm.
and it used to, and me get ringworm.
Wow.
So me train myself to
No.
don't use public bathroom.
Yep.
So in about the 7th grade, by the 7th grade, I had a urinary infection. Miss Levy tell me say she not send me to bathroom, and me
Mm,
need to go a doctor go get note. And I'm like,
Excuse me.
because it's like every single time a teacher would like leave the class, I'm like, all right, me go rush go, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
she worked in the PE room, and I was in 7R that was above the principal's office. So it's like, she's close by.
Yeah.
So she's like, why Tina always outside? And then she tell me that she don't want to see me, or if she see me outside, she gonna write me up or something like. And at that time, I was so eager to please, and I was so stupid. Like I could have make a did today, and then knowing that I would be in trouble with a teacher and the type of parents I have, it's like, all right, just conform, just
Yeah. Just
whatever she say,
no.
you know. So it's like, if I go to the bathroom, and you know, when you just start school and you have all of your supplies and everything, and I have pads and extra panty and
Mm-hmm.
tights and
Mm-hmm.
everything,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandmother asked me why I need, like, even when I was on my period, I would have it. She's like, why I need all this extra stuff in my bag and stuff if I'm doing stuff after school, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like everything is so negatively ingrained in you guys that we can't do anything innocently.
Yeah.
That's what, hey, Miss Sneaky Body, no.
And that is why you have sneaky children.
I'm a very sneaky. I feel like I can get away with a lot of things, but I don't because I have a
And
conscience, and my conscience and my
that's
anxiety don't allow me to do a lot of things.
I
But there
I
are so many things in life that could have been avoided, as you
Yep.
said, if we had had these conversations. So,
I
like, for
mean,
example,
right.
how do you, all right,
go ahead.
what's the talk that you had, and how would you have preferred to have had that talk? Or one thing that um you will most definitely be having with your kids as the talk, like how
Um
would you be giving your child a talk?
um so obviously I never had the connection with my mommy in terms of the relationship, mother and daughter relationship. I never had that.
Yeah.
We never had a talk.
Mm.
I don't remember we having a talk about sex. I don't remember us having a talk about my period until I had my period. Um, I don't remember having any conversation about liking a boy, how I would feel emotionally about a boy, hormones and all these things.
Yep.
Like we never had that conversation. So when I do have my child, I am going to sit them down and explain to them of the relationship that I had with my our parents, and I'm going to let them know that look, anything that is happening in your life, feel free to
Yep.
come to me. I'm the first person that you
First
should
person.
be able and comfortable to come to, and that's a conversation I'm going to have with them. I'm going to teach them and tell them about sex, and I'm going to tell her about her period, and all the things that my mother didn't have
So
with
what?
me. That's
So
what
what are
I
you
want
going
to
to
be
tell
able to have with
him?
my child.
What are the things that you're going to tell him?
Like, to be honest, the things that we can't stop our child from doing is having sex.
Yep.
The least you can do is let them be aware of and about it. So you let
Education.
them know. Um, you might get pregnant if you do. You might catch an STD if you have unprotected sex. Always use a condom, and just let your mother know certain stuff, because
Yeah.
then when you don't open up to them about it, that's when you get sneaky. Because I'm sneaky. I
I
was.
am so
I am
sneaky.
so sneaky. Like, to be honest, I
Wanna say
had
on a
a
sneaking? Me
boyfriend
sneaking her.
under my mother nose, and she never know that, and up until this day she never know that. She sensed that there was something, because the boy used to pass me yard, and we used to talk a lot, and she
Yeah.
asked me if I like him. I like, no, no,
No.
no, but me
No.
like it on his
Me.
yard.
Welcome, Shanice. Thank you for joining us. Did you bathe nice, clean, good? Or you bust the quickie beard what me tell her to do? No comments? Good to put on the phone and gone again. I can't with she. But anyways,
Yeah.
like um definitely. And when you said the part about it's a must, let me tell you. Yes, if you tell me don't do something, you
Hey,
better come good with why.
exactly. Thank you
Because
so
if
much.
you're not convinced me say yo, it
Don't do it.
not go work out for you.
Mhm.
Me gonna try for myself.
Yep,
That
exactly.
is so me. There are
And
in
I,
my adult life, there are so
yep,
many little
yep.
things that I would bring up to my mother and say, Mommy, I want to do this. And she say, no, man, not do it. And I'm like,
Why
I did
not?
it. I did it.
My
Me-
first question is
When
why
she tell
not?
me to do
You
Because
it
know,
if
at
you
that the
don't
not in
come
the
time,
with,
then
back
me
of my
go do
head,
it.
I'm like, why not? You know, like,
yeah,
come
like,
on,
why
why
not?
is it not okay for me to try
Steffi,
something?
Maria,
Yeah.
ask yourself this. How much time you tell me if you don't do something, let me do it? You as a friend,
Exactly.
as
When you
a
tell me
peer
don't do it,
on
that
my
is what I do.
level, how much time you say, TK,
Right.
me not think you have to do it, you know. And what me do?
You do it.
Me do it. Because what? Me not
You wanna
convinced say,
experience.
like,
You,
all
you
right,
wanna
that's a did
experience
your
it.
experience. You understand? Like,
Yeah.
you see, when you come with, oh, that's a your experience, or if or you have a feeling. You
Yeah.
have a feeling, I'm like, all right, you and your feeling can go on over there, so you know. Me,
Yeah,
I
me
gotta do
know.
it.
Say that you're doing, me
Let
know that you
me do it.
always do. I know, I know, I
Let
know.
me do it. Because, all right, honestly, a lot of times, most of the times when I ask for opinion, I'm looking for somebody to back my
Yeah.
decision because
Don't
I
I
already
always
decide
do that
already.
though?
And me really sit down sometime and me say, you know, say you know, if you ask them because you know, say you're going to do your own thing.
Yep.
Why you the bother the people them?
Um.
And I really do that in a way where I realize say sometimes it is good to do it and just jump in. But there are some situations that definitely, as soon as you say no, me say, yeah, man, see there, me didn't know say I know and me shouldn't do it. So,
All
but
right.
really and truly,
All right. So, to be honest with you, I'm your friend, right? And when me say me a friend, me mean say
we
me a
just a
friend,
throw that word there around.
right?
A joke. A joke.
I would punch you right now.
Brittany, are you still
I'm not
here?
getting violent, but um,
Mm-hmm.
I always support my friend in whatever they want to do, because why not be supportive of them? Everyone have their
Yeah.
own experience. Everyone wants to experience different stuff. But for me, I want you to be safe, right?
Yeah.
So if me see you do something what me think might hurt you, me they go tell you say me think say that no right and it might hurt you and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, I mean my shoulder is always here for you to cry on. So, but I'm going to let you be. You know, say all right. There is a choice.
Yeah.
There is always a choice. It's either you're gonna do it or you're not going to do
Or you
it.
not do it, or
There
you
is
go find another
eh,
way to get around the way where you
what
did
you
go
are
do.
trying to do. There is
There's always
always
another way.
choices. And growing up, I chose the sneaky choices because I never had the relationship with my mother. And up until this
They
day,
were so much
I
easier to do that direction. It was so
like
much
I don't know
easier
how kids
to
get
do it
caught
now.
doing
And
certain
then
things. Like
I got caught a lot.
you got caught?
But
I
I
never
got caught.
got caught.
There are things that I tried and I got away with it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, me, I do it again. And I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again. So by the time I get caught, it's like, what? All these years? And I'm like, yep,
Like
years.
there were things that happened to me in that house. I was going through stuff.
And
Um
never said anything.
I never said anything up until this day. I still haven't. And they
Yeah.
don't know. Them never know. And them they didn't even realize to show you how bad it was.
Yep. I
I
feel that on a
I
different
had
level.
to I had to clean up my own mess. I had to
Yep.
I had to I always had to clean up my messes. Um I cried so many nights and it's like no one knew that I was crying. And then
I know that feeling.
I started to search for that in someone else.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And that's
He
the
was a
thing.
cool
Like,
guy
I,
though, to be
yeah.
honest. He was very, very, very nice until he broke my heart. But
Yeah, they always are.
but he was like understandable and he was there for me and not just because he wanted anything, because
Yeah.
he was just genuinely there. And as I said before, she asked me, if you like the boy, and me did it afraid, girl.
Like,
Me
it
say,
is so.
okay, me go tell me say
It's
me
like,
like the
look
boy.
at
She
where
about do
we're
something,
already
she about say
are.
something
You
and
know?
all of that. But I don't want to ever have that with my kids, so we are going to have the talk. If it's a boy, we're going
Yeah.
to have the talk. If it's a girl, we're going to have the talk.
Pretending, how is your talk? How would your talk go if you could choose, like, what you would like your parents to have said to you, or what you intend to say to your kid?
I really don't know, I would just maybe start at the period and then
Brittany
gradually
from the
work
house
my
phone?
way up. Pardon? But really and truly, I don't think I know the approach I would want them to take because them different from me. But still and
Yeah,
still, start from the period and work your way up to the bigger things. As me get older, you start introduce new things. So like, you,
different things.
right, you talk about boys first, then you talk about the sex, and then you
I
talk
think,
about
man.
babies and pregnancy and all of that. When
Yep.
me when me
I
get old
think
enough to understand everything, not when
it
me
should be
reach
introduced in
18.
levels, because again, there are different stages. There's always something new. I think it is a continuous talk. I agree. Levels to this.
Right.
For me, I think that one of the first topics we would cover, maybe before period, is
Mhm.
pedophilia.
Lord.
I see her something that in a girl.